Hello YouTube and welcome to my season 13 guide on how to win in Soloq. On screen you guys will see one of my recent Diana games and yeah, let's just jump into it. So the first thing is when you're in queue you want to, if you are below masters, which I'm assuming you are, you want to duo queue. And you want to duo queue with someone who's down to voice chat. And ideally you want to duo with someone that you can have a combo with. So jungle mid lane, duo bot lane, maybe jungle and top lane. And ideally you want something that is great synergy wise. So for jungle mid, jungle top it would be Yasuo, Diana, or AD and AP champions. On bot lane it would be the meta duo comps like Nami, Lucian, Twitch, Lulu, stuff like that. When you then get into champion select, the first thing you want to do is you want to ban a champion. And you want to ban meta champions. So to give you guys some ideas of what I'm currently banning and what I'm seeing being banned between Diamond and Grandmaster Challenger lobbies, a lot of Namis are being banned because then you remove Nami Lucian. A lot of Lulus are being banned, so you move away the Lulu Twitch, Lulu Kog'Maw combos. A bunch of Yuumis are being banned, just because the champion is still very strong. Maokai is being banned, because Maokai jungle is very strong. And Kassadin, because Kassadin is just very broken. So, ban some of these champions, ban whatever you're struggling against. And definitely ban something that has strong synergy. Because in lower elos, just like I recommended you guys to do, you should duo. You will also see that in lower elos that the enemy team will do. The next thing you then want to do is swap pick order. So if you are first pick, you want to blind pick something. So blind pick something safe or swap with a teammate that can blind pick something safe. And I'll give you guys an example. If the enemy team first picks a top lane champion, then your top laner should not be last pick, because he already knows what he's going to play against. So top lane should just swap so that he can pick instantly in the first round on your team. And the same thing goes through the entire draft. And that way you are guaranteed to having more counter picks and more playable lanes, and not having multiple lanes being countered because of the fact that the pick order was just in enemy team's favor. The next thing you then want to do is you want to take a look at the draft and see, is this game actually winnable? And if the enemy team has a better draft, so as I said, if some of these very strong duo combinations or insane drafts comes out from enemy team, then you simply dodge. And it doesn't matter if it's a -3 LP dots or a -10 LP dots, because the season is very long and the LP doesn't really matter for the first 5 months of the season. It's all about the MMR, and then the last month of the split, I should say, then LP matters, and that's when you just spam games and don't care about stacking MMR. And I'll be showcasing, I had a very recent draft. This is the draft that you're actually seeing right now on screen. Our draft is way better than the enemy team, and I was very surprised that the enemy team didn't dodge, because we have Yasuo, Diana, very great synergy. We have Twitch, Lulu, also very great synergy. We have really strong engage, and we have really strong wombo combo. And as you guys will see throughout this game, enemy team has absolutely no chance of winning, and therefore they should simply have dodged, but they're not tryhard enough to do that, so they're probably not going to be climbing to, let's say, very high elo, such as Challenger. And this elo is like Diamond 1 Masters or something. The next thing you want to do is you want to type, this is a thing that I do in my champion decks, is I type pick best champions. So I'm basically typing pick best champions, hoping that my teammates will pick it. And then on top of that, I will link a Discord channel and say that, hey, if anyone wants to, we can do voice chat. And then that will give you great communication. And from my experience, the games will be less toxic, and that way you will have a higher chance of winning. Now, finally, when you actually get into the game, the first thing you want to do is you want to mute all. And then you want to unmute the pings. You don't really care about what is being typed in the chat, you only care about the pings. If you yourself wants to type anything, the only thing you should be timing are shot call things like, oh, I want to late invade, or let's go Baron, or something like that, which you can also do through pings, but you can do it through chat as well, if you're not a toxic player. If you are a toxic player, just don't have chat on. And then if you really try hard, you will time summoner spells. So if the enemy team doesn't play with inspiration, it's a 5-minute flash cooldown timer. And if they do play with inspiration, it's a 4-minute 15 flash timer. And then when you see someone flash, you just type 5 minutes later that they will have flash up. So if they flash at exactly minute 5 and they don't play with inspiration, then type minute 10, enemy mid has flash. And then you can play around it. Makes it a lot easier for yourself to keep track of summon spells, but also your teammates, and makes team fighting and just ganks overall easier. Then you want to also figure out, well, who is strong side and who is weak side, and everyone needs to do this. The jungler needs to do this so he knows who to gank and who not to gank. The laners need to do this to know who is gonna be getting a lot of attention and a lot of ganks, and who is not gonna be getting a lot of attention and very few ganks, if any ganks at all. So that lane has to play a little bit more passive, and the other lane has to play a little bit more aggressive. If you don't know about strong side and weak side, I have an entire video covering it here on YouTube that you guys can watch that will explain everything that you need to know. Then you want to pay attention regarding level 1, because if you're stronger level 1, you should abuse that. It can be invade the enemy, it can be cheese in the bush, anything like that. Basically abuse the fact that you're stronger level 1. I see way too many times people just going even or not doing anything, playing super passive when they're actually stronger level 1 than the enemy, which is very bad. The last thing you want to do during the game is you want to pay attention to junglers and their pathing. Where does your jungler start and how is he pathing? And same thing goes for the enemy. If you see that your jungler is starting on top side, that probably means he's pathing towards bot side. So that means that you as the top laner will not be getting any ganks for the first 4 minutes of the game by your own jungler. And you need to pay attention where the enemy jungler starts and how he paths, so that you avoid getting ganked yourself and don't end up just randomly dying, because that will put both your lane and the jungler behind and can just start tilting everybody. Because games in early season are very chaotic, very messy, a lot of tilt is happening, and matchmaking, at least in high elo, is not very balanced. But that is what happens if you queue up in early season and you know what you're getting yourself into, so you can't complain about it. It will get better by the time a lot of people have played their placements, but played maybe 50 or 100 games, then matchmaking will be better. That is basically it, but I wanted to talk a little bit about mental, because mental is a very big part of League of Legends and is a very big part of climbing, especially when we're talking about climbing over the period of an entire split, being 6 months this season. So the first thing is, as I said, you don't want to be typing any negative stuff. So if you know you're a negative player, just don't play with chat on. Very simple. The next thing you want to do is, way too many people just FF. I personally FF about a third compared to the average of my elo, meaning that I am almost never surrendering. Some games, of course, are completely unwinnable and you can FF them because there's absolutely zero chance of you winning them. But the lower elo you are, the higher the chance of you actually being able to win the game is. Because the enemy team will have bad macro, make bad mistakes, and there'll be ways that you can get back into the game. But I see a lot of people just instantly like typing FF15 because they get ganked at minute 3. Like, stop having this type of attitude, stop FFing and actually just try and win. And if you can't win, then try and just improve and say, okay, what did I do wrong and what can I do better in the next game to make sure I have a higher chance of winning that next game. So as I said previously, the first split is about 5.5 to 6 months long. And the first 5 months is just all about MMR, and the last month is just all about LP. Nobody really cares about early season, you just want to stack MMR so that by the time that the end of the first split comes, that your MMR is really high and you're getting a lot of LP when you're spamming games or playing a little bit more than you are in the early season. So remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And focus on yourself, focus on what you can improve on, and focus on winning. Don't focus on your teammates' mistakes, because it's not going to help you climb anywhere. I hope you guys enjoyed my Season 13 guide on how to win. And I hope this will help you actually win more of your games and that you will be using these tips. And then I just want to say thank you for watching this video and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.